What's up? It's Grave of Too Busy to Play, presenting you my top picks for mobile gaming. This is my way of showing my preferences when it comes to mobile gaming. These games were really hard for me to uninstall due to insufficient space in my mobile phone. There's only so much space our smartphones can have and still keep all the games we want to play. Anyways, these are mostly mobile games that are free to play and are not arranged in any particular order. These are not influenced by the current rating in the Play Store or App Store. Please let me know in the comments if you like this kind of video. Also, stay tuned as I feature a bonus game at the end of the video. You could also give me support by clicking that subscribe button, and to get notified for my upcoming content, hit that notification bell. Let's get started. First off on the list is Gladihoppers. Gladihoppers is a 2D physics gladiator simulator game that pits you against randomly generated opponents. It has different game modes offered in the get-go. There is little hand-holding done via the tutorial, and I prefer it that way since there's only a right amount to get you acquainted with the controls. There are different game modes offered in this game, each delivering a dose of fun. Career mode is the classic gladiator simulator that randomly generates characters as you compete with gladiators of different builds, item loadouts, and attributes. Upgrades are done in the middle of each successful battle and ranges from item upgrades to attribute distributions. Each upgrade could spell victory or doom to your gladiator, so choose wisely. This game mode really excites me and even makes my palms sweat, as each encounter could possibly be the last for your dear gladiator. Risk and reward is quickly realized for each battle, and it can either spell victory or crushing defeat. Arcade, or what I call defense mode, gives you the opportunity to experience your warrior's full potential, and with some nifty gear to boot. The game designers did not beef up your character for no reason, as you have to defend your emperor from an onslaught of barbarians out to destroy the capital city. Before starting your defense, the game lets you pick a warrior archetype, each with its own strengths and weaknesses. Fret not, you don't exactly face those numerous barbarians alone, since the Emperor gives you health potions and some buffs. For me, this mode is what I like best because I get to feel the full capabilities of a particular warrior archetype, unlike in career mode, which upgrades are slowly earned per battle. In Quick Fight, you can share the fun and challenge your friends and family for a split-screen quick battle. Loadouts are customizable to whatever your heart pleases. I had a blast with my nephew when I played this on his iPad. A spontaneous tournament can be a source of fun between friends and family and can be done with this game mode. At its core, it's a physics game that requires you to be creative in your attacks. To get those sweet critical hits means to adapt a high-risk maneuver and requires timing, just like in other fighting games. If you are craving for some miniature gladiator carnage, then Gladihoppers would be a great choice that I recommend. Sierra 7 is a rail shooter back in the early 2000s in a browser flash game format. It has been played a lot of times that there has been an initiative to redesign the game concept and make it available for the Android and iOS. Its gameplay reminds me of those arcade rail shooters during my teenage years. I'm sure some of you would know what I'm talking about. You know, those games like Time Crisis and Racing Storm. There are some similarities to those arcade machines, but this handheld game still managed to make it as close to an experience to those arcade rail shooters. The story focuses on the Sierra team, particularly Sierra 7, which was called back into action to take on a group called the Militia. You take control of this solo operative as he takes on multiple enemies in surmounting odds. Story-driven cutscenes are presented as comic bubbles with a simplistic approach. This being a rail shooter with cover mechanics, the controls are easy to use. Aim is adjustable depending on your desired sensitivity. Default sensitivity feels just right as I glide my thumb ever so slightly to my next target. Sudden movements makes the reticle move a bit faster as you are moving your rifle to the next target. What you will immediately notice with Sierra 7 is the top-notch sound that immerses you into the game. Bullets are heard as it whizzes past you or as it hits the cover you are hiding in. Different guns produce its own sound, and I have to give props to the dev team for putting so much love and care into that. I also appreciate the effort that they have put into this game as the enemies react to the damage done to specific body parts. My habit usually is when my aim is a bit off, I put a bullet to the target's body to stun them and then go for the head. I kinda feel like John Wick whenever I beat a level that seemed impossible after a few game overs. Some of the scenarios that the game throws at you are the combination of weapon types and enemies with face or vest armors. And an extra challenge is that the same mission replayed will not place the same enemy in the same position. This increases the replayability of this game, adding more fun and replay value. Sierra 7 proves us that rail shooters can still have that special charm in this era of first-person AAA games in the market. Adventure Company is a stylized game that takes you in a fictional world where a group of adventurers are out to explore an unknown land that is ripe for treasure hunting. This is an RPG, so in true form you build your party as you assign them on missions and earn treasure. These are not just mundane kill all enemies type of missions, but the game devs put some twist into them. Other than eradicating a number of enemies on screen, there are other missions like protect the VIPs, collection missions, defend a location, and so much more. There are other unique missions as you progress in the game, and I won't spoil them all here, but it will certainly challenge you. Controls are very flexible to fit any preference by the player, such as stick controls or touch controls with auto attack enabled. This makes it comfortable as you sometimes need to grind some of the stages to level up your party. Good thing there's also autoplay enabled as well. What I really love about this game is the different units or job classes. Each job has its own set of special abilities. Trainee classes can be promoted into Farmer, Warrior, or Archer class, the three main Tier 1 jobs. This process of specialization goes into more tiers, branching out into different job trees. This is fun and interesting since you can customize and build your own team of warriors. From what I've gathered in the wiki pages, there are a whopping total of 61 unit classes in the game. Plenty of choice for a varied team composition. There is joy in discovery as you unlock many different classes. Enemies are what you would expect from a fantasy RPG, from goblins, undead, and strange creatures like spiders or weird coconut tree enemies. Yeah. I guess that's the way for the devs to try to keep it all fresh. It is nice to see that the enemies have their own character classes that are strong against some of your units. As for the artwork, the enemy aesthetics are still consistent with the cutesy vibe of the whole game, so that was also a plus for me too. Mission structure is engaging too. There is a bit of strategy needed on which units would be effective for missions. Missions have their different stages, so you have to distribute the right number of adventurers to ensure victory. This adds a depth, as not all of your units will be effective against certain enemy types. The item system can be of some help when you equip attribute boosting items on your adventurers. Adventure Company is an awesome game to install if you want a challenge, and personally, this is a fresh take on the RPG genre. Maximum Car. What you'll immediately notice with this game is its retro graphics, loud awesome music, and a thirst for speed. Controls are easy to grasp, and drifting is satisfying to execute by tapping the left and right side of the control screen. To up your arsenal, your car has the capability to use the speed boost and a single rocket to take down the rival cars in your path. Power-ups can be earned by doing risky maneuvers on other racing vehicles or on innocent commuters. It's an awesome experience when you can chain takedowns as you gain new boosts and power-ups and the cycle continues. Each takedown is extra satisfying due to the cinematic angles and the momentary slow motion of the camera. Those slow-mo takedowns are a real thing of beauty. Maximum Car is on point in getting their inspiration from the Burnout racing games, and certainly paid homage. If you have that need for speed and competitiveness, then Maximum Car is a great game to play. It certainly is a game with a lot of personality shown through its art and sound. Monsters with Attitude. This PvP game shows you a world where monsters are trained to be the biggest, baddest through a free-for-all brawl. It's a non-violent game, but it certainly has its charm to attract audiences of different age groups. The destructible planets are varied, and the theme of each arena is cohesive and looks like a habitable world. Some rounds of gameplay would transport you to different biomes, which I like, and not every world will look the same on each round. When playing the game for the first time, there are three choices for the monsters. And by playing more of the game and winning, you unlock more characters in the process and making the experience more varied. Adding to the fun experience are the main and secondary abilities of each monster. These can tip the scales when it comes to winning a match and getting to the top spot in the rankings. Even if there are different monsters to choose from, the ability of using different items picked up during a match can also make a world of difference. It can certainly tip the scales to your advantage. There are random pickups littered in the planet arena like shields, temporary size boosts, speed boosters, and area effect type of items. Literally, anything can happen. My best experience is that I managed to come out on top in the end of the round after some strategic use of item pickups and using my monster abilities. I really enjoyed playing this game. I even shared this with my nephew as it supports multi-platform, so more of your friends and family can enjoy this PvP gem. If you like games involving PvP, then I urge you to play this game and certainly you will keep coming back for more. Counter of Death. Growing up, my siblings and I spent our school vacation days watching a lot of TV. One thing that caught our eye were foreign channels that featured old kung fu movies. These old films had a grainy quality to them, but it still managed to charm us with its simple story and a lot of kung fu action. Those childhood memories were uncovered again when I first played Counter of Death. The protagonist's love interest has been kidnapped by a mysterious bad guy and taken up to the ominous tower. Now it is up to the hero to face the odds and battle his way to save the damsel in distress. This is somewhat a common trope, but combined with the famous classic, the Game of Death. Control keys are minimalistic. You basically need to defend yourself from a wave of attacks and deliver a one-strike counter to defeat an enemy. There is also the ideal way to counter the enemies and defeat them, but it takes super accurate timing that the protagonist would immediately deliver the counter blow after just defending one strike. It's a difficult counter move to time, so better study it well if you want to survive the difficult bosses. I was quite surprised that there is a deeper mechanic when it comes to countering enemies. This adds a level of mastery in the game and makes it more enjoyable. Enemies encountered are varied to keep you alert. There are also projectiles thrown into the mix to keep the level varied. What made me fall in love with this game are the bosses you encounter at the end of every level. Each of them has their own look and fighting style, making me tense as I watch where the incoming strikes will land. I enjoy how I overcome each boss having their own way of telegraphing strikes. Some are less obvious than others, so being observant is also a key factor as well as alertness. To give you a reward after each boss, the protagonist executes a variety of combos to finally defeat a foe. Those animations are very satisfying to watch. Come to think of it, the game concept shows admiration to Bruce Lee's The Game of Death. From the tower, the bosses, and even the intercepting fist. There are different game modes unlocked as you progress. The original mode, turbo mode, and super mode. These different modes have something special in store for you, like modified speed, different enemies and bosses. Even bosses behave differently in these game modes as well. Counter of Death is a game that shows us that even a simple game can be enjoyable. I urge you to try this game. It's easy to learn, but satisfying to master. That's the end of my top pick list for mobile games. If you like this kind of video, please like and comment below to share your own top mobile games. To support my channel, you can also subscribe and share this to your friends. Once again, this is Grave of Too Busy to Play, and I'll see you on the next video.